Bernie, I saw him the other day walking down Church Street.
Oh, that's right. You're in Bernie land right there. Is everything
Absolutely.
just mittens
In the
around
heart.
you? Yeah, like
People love that story. Like so many of my coworkers have come up to me being like, I know the teacher in Essex who knitted him those mittens. It's all made from like recycled wool, and like it's a wonderful, wonderful story. Yeah, we get a kick out of it. We get a kick out of Bernie. Anything that pops up Bernie here, we love.
it's fantastic. I feel as though every single person in Vermont should get a pair of those mittens. Like it should just be a statewide dress code, really. Like you should all just have that. And when you leave, especially when you leave the state and you go to other states, that's how you can recognize one another. You know, like you're in Florida, but with the mittens on.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
I'm
interesting.
pitching this for Vermont. You have this power, right?
Right.
Like you have.
Are you ready?
Executive
let me
Vermont
just-
power. Come
Let
on.
me call up Phil Scott and just see if he's down. And it's interesting though, because Bernie got all this attention for wearing some hand-me-down wool mittens and a 20-year-old parka to the presidential inauguration, and a lot of us feel like that exemplifies how I want my public servants to dress. They're not celebrities. They shouldn't be wearing Gucci and Dior and all these other high class bougie brand names. They should be dressing like they serve the people and like they don't have millions and millions and billions of dollars hidden away somewhere. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really ultimately care at all what any of them wear, but I do want to know that they are actually in touch with what people are really living and what they really need. So, clothing can be a sign of that. Sometimes it's not, though. Sometimes, whatever, you get dressed for a magazine shoot, or I don't know, your sister gives a hand-me-down, or who knows. But I do want to know that politicians are paying attention to the people that they represent and are paying attention to what those people's lived experiences really are. That's truly what matters. And I definitely think that we primarily have a lot of politicians who are super out of touch with the majority of people. And that doesn't work. Not for a functioning country at all.
No,
it doesn't. I wonder, that makes me think, like, what do you think about politicians that, so I've had a shift in my mentality of politicians that shift their beliefs as time goes on, because if you're representing the people, then I'm kind of more lenient on people who switch their beliefs to be what their general voter base wants, because people are like, oh, you're just trying to play to your voter base, but like, isn't that exactly what a public servant is supposed to do? What's your take on that? What do you feel? Is that dishonest, or is that what they're supposed to be?
I generally feel it's good for all people to be examining what they believe and why. And I think that anyone who's doing that honestly and with any sort of rigor is going to change and alter over time. You're going to evolve. If you're not evolving, then you're obviously not putting enough effort into paying attention and reading and learning whatever you need to learn. And it can change in all sorts of different ways. I think, changing to represent the people that you are representing it can be very good. But, ultimately, I think that all people really need to be examining why they believe things. I know I've changed a ton. I'm not the same person that I was 20 years ago in my political beliefs. And that's a really, really good thing. And I hope 20 years from now, I look back and go like, what the fuck? She should have been more progressive. Like, I'm hoping that seems to be the route that I'm on, but we'll see.
Yeah, you always hope that's the idea of progressivism. But the whole Republican mindset is like, or conservative mindset is, oh, you're just young. You don't have responsibilities.
I hear that all the time.
Wait till you have responsibilities, then you'll have the. So hopefully we don't move that way.
I have a theory on that one. There's like that old saying that if you're not a liberal in your youth, you have no heart. If you're not a conservative in your old age, you have no brains. Like, that's what I grew up with. And that's what I always sort of thought, like, oh, I guess there must be some kernel of truth there. But what I realized was it's because the way that people used to live, they expected to make a certain level of money, reach a certain level of comfort, and be okay. And that's when the conservatism comes in. When you start to be like, well, I'm wealthy, I've done it, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But now, unfortunately, we're in a path where the majority of people don't ever reach that place of just being comfortable and okay. So I think that saying was really like, if you're, not a liberal when you're struggling, and if you're not a conservative when you are super comfortable and wealthy. And, fewer people, unfortunately, get to have that like old concept of the American dream anymore. So I don't think we're going to see as many people turning towards conservatism.
Yeah.
That's my theory. That's my hot take on that one.
Well, no, my imagination started roaring with like Cheek and I are from a small, pretty wealthy town, and it's like you kind of like funnel from. I feel like there's a migration pattern. When you're younger, you're in big crowded areas, you're in cities, you're in college places, you're sharing ideas. And then as you get older, you start moving further and further away from that into these silos. And if you are getting more and more wealthy, you're isolating yourself a lot of the time more and more from people who don't have money or that privilege. And so all of a sudden the things that you're worried about become only the things in your world. And it's just this thing where like you can only focus on the things that are around you. Like my dad cares about what the golf course looks like more than he might care about some issues that I think are a lot bigger and more socially oriented. So it's got to be part of that migration pattern of making more money and isolating yourself.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something there. I haven't thoroughly explored it, but I think you're onto something. You might have a thesis paper coming out of your hair. You're gonna have to go get
my whole life
start typing.
Yeah.
Podcast Bozo thesis paper.